What's happening, everybody? How y'all feel, man? You tuned into another great Thursday night live with your main man, Clarence Brown, relationship coach Clarence Brown. Y'all can call me Coach Clarence. Whatever fits the bill, you can call me that. I am a certified relationship coach. I am also an author, a speaker, and the host of the Male Translation Podcast. And as I said tonight, you watching my Thursday night live. And so what I do is I try to help bridge the gap of communication and understanding from men and women and just overall help you improve your dating experiences. So tonight I got a great subject for you guys tonight. And I posted it earlier to kind of let you guys know what we'll be discussing this evening. I want to talk to the ladies tonight and kind of give some clarity as best I can, and just really kind of open some eyes and give insight into a man's mind on this subject of why men cheat if they are happy, right? So the why men cheat, why when they're happy, that's what we're going to discuss tonight. All right. So I hear a lot of times women mention how. Let me get this started real quick. Give me a second. Okay, so I hear a lot of women speak about how, hey, if a woman does all that she's supposed to do, is a man still going to cheat, right? If a woman is doing everything in her power to make a household welcoming to a man, or make the environment good for a man to feel at peace, or feels like he's satisfied, is he still going to cheat, right? So all of these things are reasons why women have the question of why men would cheat if they're happy. And so tonight, I just want to give some clarity from experiences that I've seen. I'm not a cheater myself. All right, so I'm gonna say that right off the bat. And that's not to say that things don't happen, and there's not reasons as to why a person might, do something outside of their relationship, to which I don't condone. But I will say I will give a piece of my brain and understanding to what may be the reasons why a person may feel like, you know what, I did this, I did that. It was just something that happened. Okay, well, I'm able to understand a little bit while still saying, that's not something I support. But at the same time, being a relationship coach, I gotta do my best to give y'all some value. Y'all support me. Y'all show love every day. So every day, I'm often thinking about ways that I can kind of give some value to you and try to kind of open your eyes as to how it can be better for you in the dating realm, or just with a relationship or marriage you're already in, right? So tonight, I want to really kind of dive into this and kind of give some detail to the ladies that support the Male Translations Podcast, support my pages, relationship healing, all of the above, right? So with that being said, like I said, y'all, I need y'all to hit me up in this comment section tonight. I need y'all to be active tonight. It's like y'all banging. We need y'all active tonight, because what I really want to know is not only how y'all feel about what I say, but if you feel like it's something that you may have experienced, or you have questions about some of the things that I say, as far as maybe your own experiences maybe being touched on by some of the things that I say, right? Let me just get this right on here. We're going to get started. All right. So with that being said, I want to start it off, right. So I think it was last week I did a subject on the three phases that men go through when it comes to dating. What's going on, Nikiva Brown on YouTube? I see you out there, right? So here's the thing, right? So I talked about the three stages that men go through, right? That's the dog stage, the player stage, and the settle down stage, right? So in those stages, I kind of tried to break down. You can find that on my on Instagram. I have that posted. So in that, I kind of described and discussed how men date in stages when it comes to not age, but just maturing, and how they see women, how they see their lives with the woman they're with, you name it, right? So with all of that being said, I want to kind of try to touch on that, because I know that women oftentimes make mention of, oh, well, what stage is my man in? Why do men at a certain stage seem to still venture out for other things outside of the relationship? Aren't they too old? Aren't you at a certain type of age? That whole type of thing, right? So I just try to break down in that dating stage video that even if a man is at a certain age, he may be at a certain stage that may still be behind him in most people's eyes, and especially ladies. So what I said is that, hey, when a man is in the dog stage, he really doesn't care about anything else but getting his feet wet, getting some other things wet, just basically getting notches on his belt, right? And in the player stage, the difference between the dog stage is he still has that mentality of, hey, it's really kind of all about what I'm trying to get for myself. But yet at the same time, it's more focused on the benefits of each person. And until he decides on who he wants to settle with, he's going to be juggling these women and still saying, hey, I don't want to lose the benefits of these women who I have dealings with. Now, when he gets to the settle down stage, that's when he says, you know what, hey, listen, I've done all I can do. And now I'm ready to just focus on my family, focus on myself with the lady that I'm with, and just try to really build from there, right? So with all that being said, when he's in that stage of settling down and he's perceived to be happy, why would he then cheat, right? Isn't that one of the questions that you ladies may have? If he's reached the stage where he's ready to settle down, why is it that he's still looking outside the relationship? So what I want to try to talk about is some of the things that are inside a man's mind. What is it that makes a man cheat if he's perceived to be quote unquote happy? Again, that statement women make all the time is, hey, he seems to be happy. He says he's happy. He says this is where he wants to be, but yet he seems to still venture out for something else that he seems not to see or feel he has at home. So let's kind of touch on that, right? So what I talked about is the three major allures or attractions or just necessities for a man when it comes to what provokes them, what motivates them to step outside the relationship. It could be from these three things, right? So number one, and this is kind of, I detailed this on my video. So if you want more detail, you can go back on Instagram and check that video out on the 3 stages men date, right? But anyway, the first of the three major urges or motivations is to keep a level of status. All right. So what that means is that a man wants to be catapulted to the top of respect of all men because of the ability to do a few things. One being making money, right? Men respect other men who can who are very skillful at making money and have resources, right? Attracting women. That's another thing that men made me respect out of man. Okay, said, dang, you know, bro, seem to be have a way with the ladies, right? Compete physically, right? So a man who's able to compete and show that he's able to still rank among the top of men in certain physical areas, sports or whatever else, just combat, things of that nature. Those type of things are the things that give a man that status. So if a man is good with attracting women, if he's very adept having a way with the ladies, then of course, you know, that status and being heralded and catapulted among the top of respective men for that ability is something that makes a man say, hey, I got to always make sure I keep this rank among the fellas, among my peers. So when a woman's like, well, why is he doing? Well, all right, now let me know. Like I say, hit that comment section. Let me know how y'all feel. But that's one thing that I know women have mentioned. Hey, it seems to be he's distracted. Like, what is it like? Why is these outside influences seem to have so much of a powerful impact over him, right? So the second being recognition, right? And Val, I'm gonna get to your comment in a second. I see you showing love. I'll make sure I get you a comment. So recognition, being viewed as an asset or being viewed as someone important by his peers. All right, family, it could be the world at large, right? And that's kind of like always wanting to hold the crown, you know, where a guy always wants to feel like if he still has it, right? And so being recognized, it kind of ties back into the status as well, where it's a distraction. It's where a man says, hey, well, let me make sure that I still have that acclaim among the ladies, that I'm still have that fire, that you know, that energy that attracts a lady, right? So those type of things may lend to you know, interactions with women that are outside the relationship that could potentially turn into something intimate, sexual, physical, right? So that's number two. Number three is self-appreciation. All right. Now that you can say it's self-pride, it could be saying, you know, some people might say it's just being selfish, but overall it's that thought in your mind that says, I deserve nothing less than this, right? And so you'll have, and this happens, this is interchangeable between men and women. But what I find a lot is, you know, you'll have people that carry this mindset of I deserve nothing less than this. So if they feel unsatisfied in areas in their relationship or their marriage, in their mind, the first thought is, come on, man, I deserve nothing less than this at least, right? So whether it be right or wrong, the mindset is because I may not feel like I'm getting all that I deserve, these things trigger me, these things provoke me, these things motivate me. And some may say, hey, that's a weak-minded person. But yet, hey, you can't really fault somebody for not having the same flaw as you. And oftentimes, a person may be weak in this area and you may be weak in another area. And it's all, we can all make cases of why, one is better than the other and one is not as bad as the other. But regardless, you know what? That's just what it is. So tonight, what I don't want to talk about so much of what's right and what's wrong, but just give you insight on what's real and what's really happening. I think that that's where the most value tonight is going to be, and just in hearing what actually is happening, because these are the things that a man is not going to tell you. I have the luxury of not having a dog in the fight in your relationships to be able to say objectively without anybody's influence that this is what's happening. All right. And if fellas, y'all out there watching as well, hit that comment section. Let me know if this is a good game, a good ground I'm sowing on, or this is something that you can't really subscribe to. I need to know because I'm speaking on behalf of us. All right. So real quick, let me see. I see the comment on Instagram. Just want to show love to Miss Class 126 says, if it's safe to say, on average, men before 35 not ready. No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I know a lot of guys that are 35 plus that have their head on, and a lot of them are on their way to being married because they found somebody they feel like they can share their time with and gives them peace and understanding. Let me see. Val says, maybe this current woman is disrespectful and doesn't show him respect or let him lead. This opens him up to other families who acts opposite of what he deals with at home. That's a very good point. Also, she says, and nowadays, is so many women cool with being a side chick. Side chicks are just in for the moment, not looking for something permanent. Great points. Great points. So those things also lend itself to a man feeling like, hey, it may be more acceptable for him to have a situation outside of a relationship when, I know ladies, it's funny when men talk about side chicks, some women see it as putting women down. But yet when I go to these conferences and when I speak on panels and I hear women talk about other women, it's like y'all act like y'all don't know, but y'all really do know how trifling other women can be when they see something of value. They see a man that is a good man trying to walk the straight and narrow line, and it's like, well, I want a piece of that. I want a taste of that. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if he will. It's almost like at the mall when they want that sample. All right. So these three reasons, what I mentioned earlier: status, recognition, self-appreciation. I think those things cover the guy that says, hey, you know what? There's still something in me that's not yet fulfilled, and I still feel like I need to pursue that because I feel like I deserve nothing less than that. Like I said, the self pride, self appreciation, or that recognition to say, hey man, listen, I'm always going to be that guy that that is recognized for just being able to hang among the ranks of men, and also be able to have a level of status behind the fact that as men respect me for the ability to attract women, I always want to hold that. I always want to hold that title. I always want to kind of, make sure that when I'm around guys that I'm respected or looked at as one of the high qualities of the guys, right? So these are things that women will say, hey, well, what about this? What about that? So I want to try to make sure I cover that before I go into some of the things that I'm going to talk about tonight, because I know when going into it, the questions may pop up to say, well, what about the man that does this? What about if he, so the reasons I mentioned about status, recognition, self-pride, self-appreciation, when you go back to that, when you rewind it back to this part, then it'll make more sense for those guys that you may feel like are outside of the realm of what I'm going to discuss tonight, right? So the topic is, again, why men cheat if they're happy. All right. So why men cheat if they're happy? The question, why men cheat if they're happy? The reason why oftentimes when women make the statement of, hey, listen, he seemed happy, or I'm doing all I can, and I did all I can do, it's like, well, are you really? Right? Now, here's where I may ruffle some feathers. I may, rub some people the wrong way. It might be Epsom salt, might not feel too good. It might be feeling kind of like, but if you allow me to, like I said, I'm not going to be trying to make a point on what's right, but what is really happening. So for a lot of ladies that feel like, hey, just tell me, I just want to know the truth. Well, oftentimes you're not going to get that truth from the man that you're with. You're going to get it from someone outside of that relationship. And so here I am trying to do just that. All right. So here, let's go get into it. Right. So first we got to address the question. The question being, is he really happy? Okay. Now, as a man, I can, of course, be looked at as, oh, you can be biased. But the point being is that regardless of if I was a man or a woman, if a man is stepping outside a relationship, the thought that most women have is you can't be happy if you feel like your needs are not being met within the home for whatever reason you felt the need to step outside a relationship, right? So the question we have to really address, if he does step outside the relationship, get caught, and then the woman thinks that whatever he says is not congruent with the fact that what he's doing shows that he doesn't seem to really be happy if he doesn't feel satisfied or feel like he has whatever he needs in the relationship, right? I mean, that to me that makes sense, because you can't go off of what somebody says, you go off of what they do. So if they say, "Hey, listen, I'm happy, I love you, this and that," the woman is thinking, "What? You lying?" I mean, am I right? Somebody let me get a like, let me get a comment, let me get a thumbs up, right? So the first thought is going to be, you're lying. You can't. There's not right, because you wouldn't do what you did had you been happy, satisfied, pleased, and edified, and all of that, right? So the question we got to address is he really happy, right? Now, in relationships, when I speak to men that come to a counseling session, a lot of times they feel like, you know what, I was forced into this. What's happening, CJ? I see you out there, bro, on YouTube. A lot of guys, and thank you for that. I need you to stick with me, bro, because I don't know if there's a lot of guys on this live, so I need you to let me know if what I'm saying is fact or fiction. All right, if it's cash, if it's trash, you let me know, because I'm speaking on behalf of us. But again, the question of, is he really happy, right? A lot of times men in relationships and marriages aren't 100% happy, but what they are is just trying to keep the peace. Okay. I know a lot of ladies, y'all might not like that. I know it. I know it. This is why, as a man, I got to do what some of the guys that you're dating or married to won't do. They won't say it. Why? Because it's a battle, it's a fight, and there's no easy way to say something like, you know what, I'm not happy with you. I'm not satisfied with you. That conversation never goes over easily. So, therefore, you have a lot of men that, instead of actually being happy in their marriages, in their relationships, what they are is just keeping the peace. Okay. And here's another thing. I've heard a lot of men say, "Hey man, listen, I'm just sticking in it for my kids. I'm just sticking through it for my kids, man. You know what? I know our relationship crazy, man, and I know I got a lot of things going on, and I know it may seem chaotic and whatever, but I'm just really here for my kids." Now, here's the thing. A lot of ladies don't like to hear that. And what I've seen is, when it comes to trying to stick through a relationship for the children, not to say women won't, but the majority of women won't. All right. If it's not working with the guy, if it's not working out with the gentleman or the man that they with, whatever the case is, then oftentimes a woman's like, forget this, I'm done, I'm out. It's irreconcilable, right? So therefore, I'm just out. I can't do it. While on the other hand, a man will still stick it through and still stick it out with the woman, because he feels like, hey, listen, for the betterment of my family, and for me to wake up and see my children, for them to wake up, hey, daddy, all of that, I'll, you know what, even though I'm not happy with her, I'm staying for my kids. I've heard it 100 times. This is not something that's new news. This is not fake news. This is real talk. That a lot of guys aren't always happy, but they are just trying to keep the peace with the woman they're with for various reasons. And one was just, I mentioned, the children, right? So why is this important? All right. This is important because men give off the impression that they are happy, just to keep the peace in their life and keep the peace in their household. Right now, again, women don't like to hear this, because you want to be loved. You want to feel like, hey, I don't want a pity party. I want you to really be in this for me. I want it to be us really loving on each other, building, growing, you name it, right? And that is definitely understandable, and that's something that I feel like is respectable. But at the same time, what you have to recognize is that there's a lot more that goes into it. That when you have so much tied in together, when people say, "Hey, we got both our names on the mortgage, and hey, we got businesses together, we have this and that together," not only the kids, but y'all have so much tied into one another that it's hard for you to just disconnect and say, "We're going our separate ways." Forget that, because it's going to be a messy breakup. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to be hard to separate, or to say who gets what, and all of that. And that's just outside of the fact that the children are affected by the breakup. So for that being said, this is why it's important to ask the question and really try to gain an understanding on if he actually is happy. Now I know a lot of ladies will say, well, men won't talk, and when well, if you, so we gonna get to that. Don't I already know what's in your spirit, what's on your chest. If you ready to get off your chest, but here's the thing, we gonna get to that. But I want to try to take it in steps, like I said, so I can be as clear as possible and really break it down as much as I can, so that when you catch the replay, you can save this video, you can share it, and you'll be able to really be able to say, okay, well, I can really study this video and compare it to my life's experiences to know where I'm actually headed and what I'm in for, what's around the corner for me, right? So again, men will give off the impression, because they want to keep the peace, they give off the impression that they're happy. Okay. So when we talk about the subject of why men cheat because they're happy, if they're happy, the question has to be, first of all, are you really happy if you're cheating? Right? You can't be happy and cheating. And as a man, if a man is telling you he's happy but he's cheating, it's because he feels he can't tell you why he's unhappy. It's not that he won't tell you. He feels like he can't tell you. Why? Why he can't tell me, Clarence? What do you mean he can't tell me? If he's a real man, he'll tell me. If he's a strong, right? I got you. I got you. But is it really that easy? Is it really that easy? Yes. All he got to do is be a man, right? It's really that easy, huh? Okay, we're gonna get to that. So here's the thing. Most of the times he's happy in the areas he can speak about without an argument. All right. I'll say that again. Most of the time he's happy in the areas that he can speak about without an argument. All right, I'm gonna say that for the third time for those. Like I say, I want y'all to be able to go back and really replay this video, share it, save it. He's happy in the areas that he can speak about without an argument. What am I talking about? So let me see. Val says no, they are not happy. I appreciate you, Simplistically Digital, for that super chat. I appreciate it. Y'all, if y'all want to support the show, if y'all feel like what I'm saying is valuable to you, y'all can hit that super chat, man. Send a contribution to the show, grow the audience base. I appreciate you, Simplistically Digital. That's listen, all those syllables. So getting right back into it. What I mean when I say that he is happy in the areas that he can speak about without argument, I gave a couple of examples. All right, so areas he can speak about, some things like household stability. Okay, what are we doing? Hey, the roof need fixing. We need some appliance fix. Things around the house. I appreciate you, Tasha74, for those claps. I need to know if y'all feel like this is something that is valuable to you, or if it is actually something you experience. I need to know if I'm on the right path. All right. So household stability is one thing. We can talk about that. Hey, listen, you know what we gonna do about that room we was thinking about turning into a third room, or what we was gonna do about the garage, or you see what I'm saying? Number two, future goals and plans. Hey, you know what are we looking to do down the road? Are we still trying to buy that house? Are we still putting our money together? What's our goal? We checking up on that status of things, the money in the account, things like that, right? We can talk about that. We talking about long-term relationships, marriages, things that are conversations where a man feels like, hey, he can have these conversations, no problem, right? The third is child care or child's well-being. We can discuss that all day, right? Man can say, hey, listen, you know what? What are we gonna do about our daughter? School's coming up. We need to make sure she's got clothes. We need to make sure we got money for this or that. If it's a private school, we paying for tuition. All of these things, simple discussions. No issue, no problem. So open, so vulnerable, so able to speak to what's going on and never holding back, right? These are subjects where a man can feel like he can be happy in and speak about them without an argument. All right. Now, when it comes to, let me see, you're welcome, great topic. I appreciate it. Trying to do the best I can to be able to give to y'all. So here's the thing. These are areas now where he can't speak about without argument. Okay, so we talked about some of the things. I gave y'all 3 things where a man feels like, hey, he can be happy in, and it's always be presumed that he's happy, even though, and he can be that way without fear of an argument when he speaks about certain subject matter. But when women want to talk about things, or when subjects come up like about a woman's weight, okay, When she starts to gain some weight, maybe they had a child, maybe it's just been, she's just kind of been working more hours and not been able to stay as active. So now, the carryover and the compounding of some of the things of eating without the activity, things like that. Now she's put on some weight. Don't touch that. We ain't touching that. How do I look? You think I? I don't. We ain't touching that. Sex life. Sex life is another thing. When it comes to a discussion that he feels that he's not happy in, but he can't discuss without an argument, right? I'm just trying to make this as clear. Sex life, meaning where he may not be satisfied, where he may not be happy, but yet he can't speak about it because he knows this is almost a guaranteed argument. Period. Point blank. No way around it. Not even touching it. Right now, he may be bold enough or confident enough to speak about it early in the relationship, but after giving some of your experience responses, he's gonna be like, you know what? Nah, I'm a what? Keep the peace. Remember what I said earlier? Is he happy or is he keeping the peace? All right. So in this case, because he can't discuss it, and because he may not be happy about it, he's just say, you know what? I'm gonna keep the peace. I'm chilling, man. I ain't even, you know what I mean? It just is what it is. When the right time comes, we'll figure that out, cross that bridge when we get to it. All the while, in his lady's mind, it's like, oh yeah, he good, we good over here, and it's like all right, I'm gonna keep the peace, but we ain't good like you think we good. You see what I'm saying? So as the man who's objectively outside the relationship, no dog in the fight, but also a certified relationship coach, to be able to give you the insight on what men are thinking that they may withhold from you. This is what it is. And I'm not trying to put us down in any way, because I do think I'm doing a service for us fellas to be able to say, hey man, this is what's really going on, even though we can't really talk about it. So my bro Jeff said the answer to the topic is alcohol, situations, circumstances, plus everything you said. Boy, you crazy, Jeff. Man, you off the chain, boy. You say alcohol, situation, circumstances, plus everything you said. So, all right. So moving right along, right? So now women will say, hey, men should just say how he feels, right? If a man is unhappy, why is he being in a relationship where he's unhappy? Right? As I said earlier, when a woman is unhappy, it doesn't matter if she got kids. It don't matter the circumstances. I'm unhappy. I'm out. Listen, I need peace. I need to find myself. I need, self-care. I need somebody that's going to really love me. I need to find that. I'm not sticking through this. And you have men that say, hey, listen, I'm going through a lot. I feel dissatisfied in my relationship. I feel like, like I don't really get respected in my household like I should. I've heard these things from men. So men, if y'all have heard this, I need a thumbs up. Y'all need to let me know. But I've heard these from plenty of guys that say, hey, I'm not satisfied at home, but yet I'm just in it keeping the peace for my kids. I want to be able to still have that family dynamic and still be that fixture within the household for my children and that presence for my children. But when it comes to me and her relationship, Clarence, it's just, man, listen, bro, I don't even want to talk about it. And this is really verbatim how I've heard it come to me. Like, I don't even want to talk about it, dog. So So my rebuttal when a woman says a man should just say how he feels is what I said earlier. Is it really that simple? Is it really that easy? Because off the bat, women will say, of course, absolutely. No question, Clarence. It's really that easy. Come to me, let me know. I'm open arms, open door policy. Like, all I just want is truth. Just give me truth and I can deal with that. Like, right? And I've seen it. And I've heard about it, and I've experienced it even in myself, where some of the subjects that we talked about, areas where a man can be dissatisfied, but know in his heart of hearts that he can't have this conversation without an argument. Weight, sex life. What did I say earlier? I didn't even go into these possessive personalities some women may have, where she feel like, hey, listen, now that we married, like, you mine, I get to tell you what to do. Hey, make sure you be home and make sure you go over there. When remember I sent you to get that stuff and groceries for the store, and you still ain't come back. And like, come on, like what? See that? Also, lack of accountability is a fourth one. These are areas a man can be dissatisfied within his relationship or his marriage, but he cannot say something. Why? Because it's an instant argument. And that's why I said earlier, is it really that simple? Is it really that easy? Are women that open and honestly welcome into the conversations about things that can be improved upon or areas of growth that a man sees in the relationship that may concern her, that may involve her, that may be solely her responsibility or she's accountable for? Okay. So when it comes to these conversations, this is why when as a man hearing about, hey, listen, I'm doing all I can do and I did everything for him, it's like, well, if I ask him, is he going to say that you're doing everything for him? Right? Would it be an insult to you if he said that some of the things he wanted you weren't doing? Would you feel insulted? Because that's why you have to ask the question, is he really happy or is he keeping the peace? All right. What's going on, Kaylisha? I see you out there. Let me see. Simplistically Digital says truth and communication is key. So again, y'all, let me know. Let me get a thumbs up. Let me get a like on this YouTube or Facebook. Let me get a like, man. Y'all improve the broadcast is what's the word? Views, not the reach. That's the word. You increase the reach by hitting that like button. So I need y'all to hit that like button because I need y'all to let me know if y'all feel like this is some valuable information, because I know there aren't pretty many platforms talking about this subject. When I go down to my timeline and I see, different influencers and things like that, they're not talking about why men are cheating if they're happy. Because I think this is a subject that a lot of my clients and just friends, family members, people around my circle, when they speak about their relationship issues, it oftentimes circles around the fact that it seems to be something missing. Kaylisha, she said, what I missed. Listen, you got to catch that replay. Listen, it's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on YouTube. So I need you to save this post and I need you to study this video because I'm breaking it down as much as I can into a bolus, into baby food. I'm trying to do my best to be able to break down why a man cheats if he's happy. If you cheat most times, it's a choice. Okay, so why? Right. So if it is a choice, what women want to know, Kaylisha, is why do men choose that? Let me see on Instagram. Miss Carrie Baby 22, shout out to you. Says, so men need to learn how to communicate because cheating is the farthest thing from peace. Now, I'm gonna say this. Like I said, my job tonight is not to say what's right or wrong, but to just be as honest as possible, because a lot of ladies feel like they're not getting the honesty that they deserve. All right. So number one, Kaylisha said it's a choice. I agree with that 100%. It is a choice. It is a choice. All right. Miss Carrie Baby 22 says men need to communicate because cheating is the farthest thing from peace. Here's the funny thing. A lot of men have said outright that when they decided to speak to a woman that they eventually had sex with or stepped out of their relationship or marriage with, that relationship didn't start with sex. Some men will contest that they actually are looking for peace. And even though it may not be peace to cheat, the reason why this lady had an ability to slip through the cracks is because she was able to provide peace that he wasn't able to get at home. Right. And so if you're able to absorb that without offense, then you'll be able to understand that just because it may not be peaceful in a situation of trying to stay below the radar and not get caught with certain things, then yeah, I can see you there. But when it comes to the choice, like Kaylisha said, of a man cheating, and we have to question why he chooses that. And when you say, hey, listen, it's farther from peace, then you got to understand it's not that peace isn't what he's looking for. Okay. So a lot of women will, first thing when they know that a man is cheating, they want to know what the woman looks like, as if that was the only reason why a man would step outside of his relationship, totally disregarding the fact that a man might have looked for peace outside of his relationship and found it. And now you worrying about what she looks like as opposed to what she was able to provide that you were not. And again, this is not to be, oh, you know what, it's right or wrong, because I don't condone cheating at all. But what I will say is I can empathize with a person a little bit to be able to say, you know what, I can understand, because to me, here's my thing. And as a man, even I'll say to this, I say, if a woman cheats on me, I always feel like I have accountability in that. right? Because to me, I feel like it was something I wasn't doing or able to provide, or something that I wasn't, enough of in a certain area for her to feel sustained or feel, satisfied from. So therefore, she stepped outside the relationship. Now, regardless of what that reason is, I'm man enough to say, okay, well, I can see how maybe I could have caused something, whether it would depending on the reasoning. But I'm not going to remove myself 100% to say I have no real accountability in this. Now, what I will say, even in the breath of saying that, as I said earlier, those motives of status, recognition, and self appreciation that may come into play with the man who feels like, you know what, still I gotta get me, because those are things that are selfish, that had nothing to do with the family, the relationship, the commitment he made. But overall, you know what, there are some things that a man, like I said, can't talk about that may have him dissatisfied. So let's move forward. So Val says, talking about why men cheat. Think I appreciate that. Let me see. Kaylisha said, I'll study. I haven't had a homework assignment in a long time. Hey, listen, this might be one that you might want to keep in your back pocket. And so I hope I'm giving some game. And like I say, fellas, y'all let me know if this is cash, this is trash, this is good information or not. Let me see. Val says it depends on how he spells peace. Again, like I said, so this is why oftentimes men get upset when women don't face any accountability, even if he cheats, because he's like, listen, I was trying to tell her, I was open, I was honest, I was speaking my mind, speaking my truth, but yet every time I spoke about it, it was rejected, it was disregarded, or I was labeled a certain thing as opposed to accepted. I'm labeled as opposed to being accepted for what I feel I was dissatisfied about, which is why, like I said, in the steps of how I'm breaking this video down, I'm trying to tell you that there are certain things a man may be unhappy about, but yet he can't feel he can openly discuss without it being an argument. Okay. So Amari, let me say, how do I say Amari's? Lolita says, this is so good. Thank you. Thanks for being the voice of males and giving us women a clear understanding that we may not can get from other black men. Listen, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And like I said, this is a tightrope. I had to pray for I did this, because I say, hey, listen, I don't want to be, I don't want to dishonor the men, or make the men feel like, hey, listen, that's not how we do it, because I'm really trying to be able to speak for both sides, not speak to one side and speak for the other side, right? But at the same time, just be as honest as I can be, right? So moving right along, and if you didn't catch everything, like I said, you can catch the replay, whether it's on YouTube. I'm inter-streaming right now, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, right? So you can catch the replay on one of those three platforms if you didn't catch all of the video, and if you catch it coming on late, all right? So what we were talking about is when women say a man should just open up, communicate, say how he feels. And like I said, is it really that simple? And I got to ask, do you not feel attacked when he says some things that sting when you hear it? Do you not feel attacked? Okay. I ask that because why do I say that? When you have men that make the statement of, I can't talk to her, Clarence, I can't be honest with her, Clarence, it's not that easy. It ain't that simple, Clarence. He's saying that because where I can't see, where I'm not inside his household and his relationship, he's saying there's clearly a difference of what you see now and what's behind the scenes when the doors are closed. And so for these reasons and for certain subjects, it's not that easy for me to just talk about it, be open about it, be vulnerable about it, be confident, then bold, to say these things. Why? Because she making you think that it's that easy, Clarence. Clarence, these ladies making you think that it's just that simple. And it's not, right? So this is why I asked the question, because why men will say, well, every time I say something, I'm attacking her. And even as a married man, been married since 2012, I've often had to fight this uphill battle as well. So it's not something that's coming out of left field when I hear this, and know that even in my own relationships, sometimes there's certain things where if you even say it, there's no good way to say it. Why? Because it's still an attack. If I say it slowly, peacefully, quietly, softly, it's still an attack. So as a man, I can empathize with a man who will say, hey, it's not that easy. She's trying to make it seem like she just this open spirit, open door policy, welcome in, come in, and it ain't like that. Okay. So let me see. Miss Carrie Baby 22 said the truth hurts. This is truth for some men, and we as women have to try to understand and respect their truth. Listen, I appreciate you being on this live. That's kind of one of the things that I'm stating as to why men cheat if they're happy. And I'm breaking this down, and I'm going step by step. So if you're coming on late, if you're jumping on the train late, all I would ask is save this video. Also share this video with somebody, but use it as a tool in your back pocket to refer to, because you'll be able to see some of these things play out in your life. So let me see. Kalisha Eashan, she says, I'm going to feel some kind of way. It may not be attacked, but I'm going to be upset. I appreciate your honesty, because even that alone, y'all like, I hear this oftentimes from my wife. She'll be like, you so predictable. Right? Because we've been together so long, there's certain patterns that I have that make myself predictable to her. And anybody that's around me enough, anybody that's has someone around them enough will see and recognize the patterns they have to the point where it may be predictable. Right? And so what the problem is women think that they're not predictable. Okay. So when a man recognizes certain subject matter triggers you or turns the conversation or the night goes left all because of a discussion he's trying to have, or something y'all watch now triggers you, now you questioning him, and then it doesn't turn this whole discussion and debate. And he was like, listen, I didn't ask for this. Like, I'm just trying to watch the show. So in his mind, he's like, you are predictable, and so predictable that I'm not about to do this with you. Yeah, you trying to, weasel me into this conversation that's going to lead to a conflict or a debate or a battle, and I'm not here for it. You see what I'm saying? And so with that being said, a man will disengage. So here's the thing. Women will oftentimes make a statement and say, hey, he should be stronger and just deal with it. Don't tell him he should be stronger and deal with it, because that's unfair to him. And it shows that you only care about how you feel. So when you have women that will make the statement of, hey, well, he should, a real man, a strong man, you have women that'll think that a man should just put up with anything. A real man will stick it through no matter what. No. As I told you, you have men that will stick it through for their children, even though women don't like that, knowing that women won't stick it through for the kids if she's unhappy with the man. See what I'm saying? It don't matter. We got 2 kids. You know what? I'm unhappy. Look like you're not involved, and you're not home. You're not at home. It seems like your head is somewhere else, and we're going through all of this. And I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of arguing. I'm out. Right? Man says, hey, listen, we got all this going on, man. Come on, man. Let's try to work through this. And even though y'all fighting and battling, he says, you know what, Clarence, man, it ain't easy, but you know what? Just to see my son wake up every day and give me a hug, and I get to drop him off to school, you know what? I'm gonna do what I can. Right? But now what happens is, because he's dissatisfied, you have cracks in the armor. Now this is where the women that other women know are trifling. Ladies, y'all know there are some women out there that will try your man, right? And so when it's cracks in the armor, now she slips through, and you just say, you know what? You just ain't about nothing. You just so trash men out here, right? Total disregard to what could have been helped on your end. So you can't say that, oh, he should just be stronger, knowing that just is insensitive, and it's unfair to him, knowing that it comes across like all you care about is your own happiness and how you feel about it. All right. So say side chick, simplistic digital. So here again, now let's hear this. The thing is this. It's hard to get through to your lady without an argument or her feeling attacked. This is a statement that has been said to me countless times by men, that when I'm in a couples session and now I'm able to separate man from woman, woman from man, and give them their own platform to just speak what it is that's true to them. When the man gets his turn, this is something that he says, that it's hard to get through to her without it being an argument or without her feeling attacked. Okay. Why is this important? It's important because when it comes to the options a man has, we have to look at the options. All right. So let's take a quick overview of the options. Here are a man's options when he may be dissatisfied in his relationship, his marriage, whatever. His options are this. He mentions, number one, he mentions dissatisfaction in a relationship. And what oftentimes will happen is he's labeled insensitive or inconsiderate to her needs in her life, and just her needs in general. Okay. What I mean by that is, if he's dissatisfied and mentions his dissatisfaction, it's turned around on him. Okay. He's not understanding her needs and understanding her. It's not that he doesn't feel the way he feels and is justified for how he feels. Is he feels how he feels because he's not considering her. Okay. So I pause there just because I want you to basically understand that if this is something that has happened to you or has been said to you, that think about how a man thinks. These are certain things that he may say this one time. Then after that, he's just going to feel like, you know what, I'm not even going to talk about it. Why? Because it's going to be an argument. So instead of arguing, I'm going to just keep the peace. And ladies, y'all don't like that. It's not about what's right or wrong. It's about what's real. All right. So he speaks up. You know what? He chests up, says it with his chest. Hey, I'm unhappy. And you know what? Then he gets labeled as, you know what? You just insensitive. You're inconsiderate. Look at all I'm going through, and look at all I have to endure. And it's a comparison. It's almost a disregard to how he feels because his feelings make her feel a certain type of way, which in turn is a display of his inconsideration and his lack of sensitivity to what she's going through. And you get the head scratch like, is that a Jedi mind trick? Like, what just happened? How is that possible? And you know what? Now from then on, he's like, you know what? I'm not doing this. Right. But women make it seem like, as I said, men will say, women make it seem like it's just so easy, Clarence. Just come and talk to me. Like my book, Come and Talk to Me, The Women's Guide to Why Men Don't Communicate. You can pick that up on relationshiphealing.co. This is my book just explaining why it is that men don't communicate, how to disarm a defensive man, why men hate being vulnerable, having expectations and weighing them against reality. Talk about this in a quick read. You can get this on relationshiphealing.co. But let's move right along. Now, that was his first option. His first option is to speak up, make his expression known, open up to you, tell you how he's feeling so that there can be an area where you feel like, you know what, I need to step up as a woman. I'm going to do what I need to do as a woman, and I'm going to make sure I'm satisfying my man. I'm glad he spoke up and said that to me. Right? And like Kaylisha said, most of the time she is going to be upset. It's not going to be just, you right, Clarence. And no, she's going to be upset. She's going to be in her feelings. But yet, in my feelings, but talk to me. Fight through this wall, fight through my anger, fight through my discontentment, fight through my attitude behind what you're saying, and just be honest with me. Like, that's tough. That's a hard expectation to have and hold and expect somebody not to see it for fool's gold. So his second option is this. He can leave, right? Ladies say that oftentimes. Hey, if you're unhappy, then leave. Why don't cheat on? Just leave the relationship. But if a man is a good man and he leaves the relationship, oftentimes it makes the woman look bad. Okay, because if you have a mother or auntie or somebody older than you that knows, hey, I know a good man when I see one, and you had one, what you do, right? It's gonna make her look bad because if he doesn't cheat on her, if he's not beating on her, cussing out, treating the kids poorly, doing all of these things, and it seemed to be, hey, they together one day, and then next day it seemed to be so and so is dissatisfied, and they splitting up, they breaking up, they ain't together. Women gonna be looking at her like, girl, what you did? What'd you do? Because Steve wasn't beating on you. I know Steve was a good man, Steve, but all of a sudden, like, what happened? No, you got to tell me what happened, right? And so she gets a bad rap. But if he's unhappy and he leaves the relationship, he also still can get labeled as weak, labeled as, oh, he's walking out on his family, labeled as he's not a real man. See what I'm saying? These are all terms y'all know, y'all heard. Y'all probably done thrown them out yourself. And so these are things that are the options of a man who's dissatisfied in that relationship. He can either make mention of these things, get labeled as insensitive, it gets turned around on him. It's not just openly accepted and, oh, you're just saying, oh, I need to improve it. Oh, I need to grow in this area. Oh, this something needs to be improved. I thank you for being humble in your approach and being respectful in your delivery, but still you finna get it. What? So Miss Carrie Baby 22, she said, women are subconsciously taught to be spoiled in relationships. We can be selfish, not consider a man's desires. Listen, you speaking good game tonight. And this is why I said, I started from the beginning. Is he really happy? Let's question that. Is he just keeping the peace? Is he just doing it for the children and just really, he's not really satisfied with you? He's not really, as physically, sexually active with you, but yet he seems to still have like, yeah, we cool. We got a good marriage. We got a house, kids and cars in the garage. You know what? It's all good. But yet you feel a disconnect. Okay. So third of his options is to cheat, right? It's not the best option, but it is an option. And he may exercise that option. And what ends up happening is his frustrations, even then, are surely overlooked. Whatever he's unhappy about, whatever he felt dissatisfied about, is surely overlooked at that point, right? There hasn't been many cases where a woman gets cheated on by the man, and well, let me say women will call them, hey, you know what, it's not your fault. Don't blame yourself, right? These are things that you hear, even if it could have been something that he was dissatisfied about, he spoke about, he was open about, he came to her several times about, and regardless of all those things, women will say it's not your fault. It was his choice. He wanted to do what he did. So it's almost to say, no matter what you do, if a man cheats, it's his fault because he should have just left. All right, well, when he leaves you instead of cheats on you, then he gets labeled as weak. He's not a real man, and he's leaving his family. And when he talks to you, then you say, well, you know what? No, see, you're not considerate to my needs and my feelings. And for you to say that and mention all of these things and not realize all that I'm going through and really see that, that's tough. That's real tough. That's real tough. Which is why, like I said, I can, while not approving of it, I can empathize. I can say, man, you know what? I ain't saying that you should have did it, but man, bro, I could see where you're coming from. I could see why you could be dissatisfied, right? So here's the truth. The truth is, women are only meeting his needs based off of her perception, not his. All right, I'm gonna say that again. Women are only meeting his needs based upon her perception, not his perception. Okay. When you hear women often, I was doing all I could do. I did everything. I did everything. That's based upon your perception. That's subjective to you. That's not his perception, which is why there's a disconnect in why you felt like he was happy, but he cheated. You see what I'm saying? So if you get down to the nitty gritty, when we peel the layers back, you'll see that you weren't doing all that you could do in his eyes. You weren't everything and doing everything in how he perceived it. But in a woman's eyes, that, hey, I'm doing all of these things. So, I mean, I'm doing everything I could do. There ain't no need for you to be dissatisfied. Ain't no need for you to look any other place, no matter if you are dissatisfied with my weight or if our sex life is not active. Don't matter if if I'm overly possessive and want to know where all of your whereabouts, no matter if it's a lack of accountability on my part, or if every time you say something that can be an area that I can improve upon, I give you flack or I fight you back on that, or I feel like, you know what, every time that you say something, you're attacking me. No matter, none of that. Why? Because you know what? I'm doing everything. I'm doing all I can do. Like I said, this is not going to go over with everybody so well. But at the same time, I bet you those same people that click off will come back and catch the replay where they may be able to fast forward through some parts and be able to get that whole message in a short amount of time. But listen, even though a person may feel like, man, I don't want to hear this, they're going to come right back. Because later they're going to feel like, well, I want to know what all he said. I ain't like that one part, but I still want to kind of know what he had said, though. So it happens, right? And so when a woman is saying that, hey, I'm doing everything, I'm doing all I can do, is it based upon your perception or his perception, right? You got to figure that out. So yes, communication, men do have to communicate, but this is why I wrote a book about why men don't communicate, right? What is it? I literally wrote a book for the women that say a man should communicate about these things, even if it's an argument, even though it's going to be a battle, he should talk to me. Well, in this book is going to explain why it's hard for him to do that. So I need y'all to grab it on relationshiphealing.co. All right. And so here's the thing. Number 2, these are 3 reasons that men have brought to my attention. Number 1 was the truth is women are only meeting his needs based upon her perception, not his. So when I get in these sessions and women say, well, Clarence, I'm doing everything I can do, like I'm doing everything to keep my house together, it's him. And then when I get him in by himself, and it's like, man, listen, it's so much stuff that she's not doing. There's so many things I'm asking her to do. I come to her with respect. I try to be open. I try to be honest. I try to be vulnerable. But I'm at my limit. I'm at my wit's end. I'm halfway out the door, not because she's just so great and I'm such a terrible guy, but because, hey, if she is so great, why is she able to listen to what I'm telling her and not devalue what I'm saying and always give me rebuttals, flack and fighting me back on certain things that are my own feelings? So is it that my feelings are not important? Because it definitely feels like every time I bring something to her attention, it's always an attack on her. Why is it that when she feels that she wants to speak about something, it's like, hey, I should have the right to say about this is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm going through. Hear me out and understand me. And when it comes to him, it's a total opposite. It's an immediate attack, no matter how he says it, no matter his delivery, no matter his inflection, his tone. It doesn't matter because he still gets, oh, see, here you go, attacking me. But these are the things that happen in what men are saying. Number two is this. When men will say that women prioritize what she feels important, and most of the time, a man's satisfaction comes behind so many things. Have you heard this before, ladies? Where it's like, hey, listen, well, it seems like my satisfaction is down here on the totem pole on your list of important things among the day and throughout the week and throughout the year, right? And it seemed like it was more about just having a husband than being a wife. Seemed like it was more like you wanted a husband, but you didn't want to be a wife. So my satisfaction, the things that make me happy, the things that are that's on my mind that make me feel secure, you don't care nothing about that. That comes below all these other things. Okay, I got to make sure the house clean. Okay, the money in the bank. Okay, the kids taken care of. Okay, I got to make sure I do some stuff for myself. Okay, I make sure I'm self-care. And then, okay, after all of that's taken care of, then it's like, okay, you good? And he like, nah, and I ain't been good for a long time. But it didn't matter to you. Why? Because it becomes below all of these other things that you deem important. Now, here's the kicker, and the bad part is that he's feeling that way while saying that to himself. But when it comes to you, I always got to keep top priority in your satisfaction. I always got to make sure that I'm being romantic, that I'm sensitive, that I'm helpful, that I'm jumping right in when you need. And sometimes having to do it without you asking. I'm always having to be this great example of a guy and a leader and all of these things. But yet that is where I have to keep this in mind. I have to keep this level of priority on these things to satisfy you and make you feel like, I'm a great man and this is a great marriage. But yet when it comes to me, it's like, okay, kids, household, finances, okay, savings, okay, we got to have travel, and then my school, okay, self-care. And then number 7 is he okay? Does he need anything? Let me just ask him a question, make sure we good. Excuse me? Not just me. This is what men are saying. Let me see. Hope I say this right. No IG Wiz says perspective is everything. We have to be able to compromise and see it a different way. And I'm hoping through this video, it'll open your eyes to seeing it a different way, because it's not to be offensive or not to come across to put women down, but really just to give game, because a lot of men aren't telling you this. And so that's why I say this video, share it with a homegirl, share it with a friend or family member, so that all of y'all be able to understand some of the things that men are not telling you in real life. All right, so here's the thing. Number 3, men have to keep up a standard for her satisfaction, but women get a pass or an excuse for not keeping a standard for his satisfaction. And that's just what I just said right now, where basically he has to hold up his end of the bargain when it comes to women saying, hey, well, you started dating me like this, so you got to continue. You can't drop off. You got to keep it like this. While at the same time, she gets a pass or an excuse when it comes to her dropping off. So when I talked about the weight, when I talked about, sex life, when I talked about lack of accountability, you'll have women to say, hey, I gained weight because of this. You need to be sensitive to that. Hey, we can't be as active sexually, physically because of this. You need to be sensitive to that. Okay. When it comes to lack of accountability, hey, you need to understand that I had a right to be wrong. Okay. Even though I was wrong, I have my reasons. And in those reasons gives me the right to be wrong when I was wrong. So with all of that being said, don't come for me unless I sent for you. Right. And so all of this makes a man incensed. It makes him frustrated. It makes him angry because he's saying to himself, man, what, like, this is what it's all about. And the guys that are outside of marriages that are still dating, they're looking like, man, I don't, man, I'm kind of having cold feet now because that's how you gonna be. Let me know now because I don't, we can still date because I don't, man, listen. Right? And women like, no, listen, we need to move forward. Let's get married and got to this point. Come on, like we need to marry. Like, what are we doing? Let's just get married. And he like, man, all right, now you really pushing me, and I'm starting to get worried. Okay, so let's move on. All right. So women make the argument that if he says it the right way, okay, sometimes men do say things the wrong way. They do attack you. They do make you feel bad, and when that may be true, but in the same breath, if you know that no matter how he says it, you're gonna feel a way, and that you may still be upset, like Alicia said on YouTube or Facebook, then that says it all. So it's all subjective to you. His approach, if it is said in the right way or not, is all subjective to how you feel. So even if he comes and feels like, you know what, I strategically, I said, okay, well, this is gonna be the right time. I'm gonna say it like this. I know how she is. I know her past, her history. So I'm not even gonna go into that. I'm gonna just try to be as black and white as possible. Try to touch on this, and hopefully, I get good positive results. And yet, even still, because it being subjective to you, he comes to you in a peaceful, humble way, and still it's like, you know what? See, this is what I'm talking about. And every time we get to talk about this, and here you go again, and this is why I like this. So you know what? Right? And he gets nowhere. He gets nowhere. And all the while, the sentiment is just come and talk to me. Like the book say, come and talk to me. This is me as a man speaking on behalf of men in this book when I titled this, Come and Talk to Me. Because a lot of women believe that, hey, he good. And you know what? Listen, he need to open his mouth and just be. Women are communicators. Men are not. Women have a sense of, hey, I can just speak openly about things. Men don't. We got to feel like we're confident in you and believe in you enough to open up to you, because we don't do that for everybody. And if you ladies knew your men more, then you would know that that is the case and not hold so much pressure over him to speak to you about things you know you would have issue about, even if he, like, I don't think sometimes women respect the approach enough to not be sensitive to it. Because why? These subjects, when it be a touchy subject, is subjective to how you feel like it came across. No matter how he said it, it's like, well, the way I perceived it, the way I heard it, right? And that's why I titled my podcast Male Translations. And the title slogan is The Difference of What Men Say and Women Hear. Why? Because women will say, well, that's how I heard it, right? I'm like, I didn't even say that. I was trying to say this. And well, let me clarify. I'm like, well, in so many words, it seemed like you said this, and that's how I heard it, right? So with all of that being said, all right, I hope I gave clarity to why men cheat if they're happy, quote unquote, happy. So what is the solution? The solution is to say, hey, I need to figure out if my man is really happy or if he's keeping the peace. All right. But first, I need you to grab this book, Come and Talk to Me, The Women's Guide to Why Men Don't Communicate. The reason being is because it's not always going to be that easy when you feel like he's already in a shutdown state of mind, or he's already in a kind of, you know what, I'm falling back. He's kind of really reserved about communications about certain things. As I said, it's not always easy to get through your lady. And a lot of men feel happy only in the areas that they can discuss without argument. Household stability, future goals and plans, child care, well-being of the kids. He can talk about that all day, no problem, because he knows no argument is going to come behind those subjects. But when he starts talking about weight, sex life, possessive personality, lack of accountability, just among a few things, there's not all of it, then all of a sudden it's like, you know what, I'm not going to do that. And so this is what happens. And so the solution is that you really have to try to get him to open up and understand why he is not opening up. It's not always just him just being such a weak guy that he can't talk to you. He was talking to you when he met you. Y'all wouldn't have a relationship if he didn't speak to you. So why is it that now he's with you, he feels like he can't talk to you? There's something in that. And that's why if it's me, I always hold a level of accountability over myself, because I want to know why I wasn't approachable enough to be honest with, to where before you felt the need to go somewhere else, you couldn't talk to me about certain issues. So let me see. We're wrapping this on up, but let me see. Amari said, and this is on YouTube, says, us women need to help create a space for the men to be able to talk and be comfortable and communicate without the backlash. We don't need someone else opening the door to come in and be Mrs. Talk to Baby. That's a fact. And that's why I said some of those cracks in the armor, some of those doors being cracked, where you have women that, ladies, y'all know it's some trifling women out there that, hey, listen, as soon as they see an opening, they own your man. Why? Because he's been doing right for you for so long. He's been doing what he can to be a good man for his family and for his children. But as soon as there's a crack, as soon as he start coming into work talking about, man, he's sick of this, and man, he's upset. Shit, what's wrong? And he's like, man, you know what? Just some men, wife going through it or something like that. Y'all hate that. Y'all, don't say nothing about what's going on in this house. Just like mama used to say, what's going on in this house, stay in this house. Y'all don't want nobody to know about the issues that you may be creating for him inside the relationship. Why? Because you may feel like it's untrue and that's slander, and you just feel like, hey, that's not telling the whole story. But even if it's not the whole story, that's his story. Again, a lot of the stuff is subjective to you. So things that he perceives are subjective to him as well. So he has a right to see things how he sees things. It's just in his relationship, is what he sees being valued? Is what he perceives being valued? Because if it was, and he would feel open enough and confident enough to speak without fear of punishment or fear of backlash, and that way y'all can actually have robust conversations and he can be open and honest, because a lot of times that smooth ride that y'all want, ladies, comes after the rocky road of some of the discussions of, hey, am I really doing everything that you feel like I need to do for you? Okay. The place in my marriage, it came behind a lot of conversations where it may not have seemed like, oh, we were going to make it through, right? Where it was times where it was like, man, we weren't seeing eye to eye. And we're like, well, we're really what we're doing. Are we really doing this? Are we still going to move forward? What are we doing, right? And through those conversations came that understanding that everybody wants, that relationship goals, and the relationship that in the marriage that people want to be able to play what they made, or you poke fun at each other and not get mad at each other, or feel like, oh, they attacking you, things of that nature. Like, that's where you want to be, but it comes behind those conversations where it may not be hard to hear. I mean, it may not be easy to hear, but at the same time, those are the most productive conversations, because you gain so much understanding of the other person through those conversations. So when you do get the man to communicate, if he does feel open enough to honestly feel like this is not fool's gold, that you really are going to allow him to speak, and you're not going to get mad, you're not going to be sensitive, and that you really are going to be open to what he says, so that you can make those changes and feel like you are saving your marriage, saving your relationship, then he will open up to you, and you have to take that and run with it. You have to take that and build from it. Because if you don't, then you'll have the situation where he seems like he's happy, but he's really keeping the peace. All right. So it's relationship coach Clarence Brown. I think I want to leave it right there, and I don't want to go too far into it, too much light or dull the soul. But I think that I was able to break it down as much as I can. It's been an hour and 8 minutes. So I'm gonna leave that right there. What I need y'all to do, if you're on Facebook, I need you to share this post. All right. If you're on YouTube, I think you can share also on YouTube as well. I need you to share this post. That to me would be where I would have the most gratitude. Please, I appreciate y'all hitting this comment section, man, and joining in on the discussion. So it's not just me talking to the screens. All right. And I appreciate y'all for that. But now what I'm asking, if y'all really feel like y'all got something out of this, is to share this post with somebody that you know, because I want this discussion to be had among many more people, especially in our community, because there's too many things that separate us and not enough things that are reconnecting us and unifying us. So, like I told you in the beginning, my goal is to bridge that gap of communication and understanding between men and women, and overall help you improve your dating experiences. Well, this is one part of it. Just having this knowledge, I think, ladies, will be extremely helpful for you to understand some of the things that may not be easily said to you. And this is why a man outside of your life or relationship can say things that you may not hear within your life and relationships, because these things aren't easy to talk about, especially for men, because it's not so easy as women will make it seem, as if you can just say all of these things. And like I said, guys they be in the back rooms or be in the bedroom, door closed, strategically trying to formulate a way to deliver a message to where he can get his point across without it being offensive, and still it's met with a fight. It's, Star Wars 3, let the force be with you. And he like, God, dog, what? You know what, man? I don't know no more. And then all of a sudden now he goes to work frustrated the next day. People see it all on his body and his disposition. And now you got the little work bay chicks that's out there just waiting on an opportunity for you to slip and for him to be mad and in his feelings about it. And then now what's wrong? You need something? Hey, I made some extra spaghetti. You eat spaghetti? Oh, I wasn't even gonna eat all this here. You good? What's happening? You seem mad today. You don't normally like this, Clarence. Like, you see that? See that? See that? And ladies, y'all know it's out there, because as a woman, y'all know the tendencies of other women, especially the ones that are single and still desiring a man, and a good man at that. So if you got a good man and he is doing all that he can, understand that there are times where he may not be happy, just like it's times where you're not going to be happy. And in those moments, you really have to gain clarity on where you need to make your work and where you need to go ahead and draw your pick and shovel, because it's work on both sides. And so if you are a woman that's open enough to not be offended by the things I said, hopefully this is a blessing to you. So I want y'all to share this post. And I'm out, man. I want y'all to also stop by my website, relationshiphealing.co. Let me put that in the comments. That's not .com, that's .co. All right, relationshiphealing.co. And I want y'all to check out, man, some of the things I have there. Not only the coaching packages, because I'm a certified relationship coach. So if you need help in your situation, whether it be finding a better mate or better quality mate, understanding your relationship a little more closely to be able to understand where y'all can build or grow in certain areas, man, hit me up, man. You can sign up for an assessment call, and we can go from there and kind of discuss what you're going through and see if it's a match on both sides to start some coaching. And also, I have my online course, Attract the Quality Man in 30 Days, is to help women to be able to attract the quality man and know the difference in how men date of high quality, high regard, and men that are low frequency brothers, and knowing in a shorter amount of time than you do, so that you can save yourself some time. So these are all things that I provide on my website, as well as other things. But I just want y'all to stop by that page on your way out, show me some love, man. And we're going to see y'all again on another Tuesday night. We're going to have another great topic on the Male Translations podcast. So Facebook, YouTube, y'all be ready, man. Be ready. Set your calendars Tuesday night, 8 p.m. And it's your main man, relationship coach Clarence Brown, certified relationship coach, author, speaker, and the host of the Male Translations podcast. I'm out, man. I'll see y'all another great night. All right. Take care. Be blessed. Peace.